Hi, I'm Alex Egan from Stanza Style Interiors. Follow me as we show you how to decorate your tree this Christmas. You need to put your tree near to a plug so that your tree lights will easily connect to the tree. Make sure that there's no trailing cables so that there's nowhere for anybody to trip over. And make sure when you put your tree out that you put it somewhere that actually is the place that you want to see it on a day-to-day basis. You want to be able to view it and enjoy it each time you walk into the house. Putting it either in a kitchen or a lounge, somewhere in a room that you actually spend quite a bit of time. One really important factor is try not to put a tree next to a radiator, as it gets too warm and will dry out your tree. You need to decide if you prefer a real or artificial tree. Both have benefits and both have downsides. An artificial tree allows you to put your tree up at the very early part of Christmas and also allows you to manipulate the branches so that the shape is to your desired effect. The benefits of a real tree is that you will have a really lovely smell and it allows you to bring the outside inside, although you will have to spend time hoovering up needles. Make sure when you use an artificial tree that you fan out all the branches, but make sure you don't pull them out level, that you move them around a little bit to create some depth of the tree. Make sure that when you're choosing your tree, you choose the right height. Generally a 6-foot tree is quite good for most houses, although you might have a much higher ceiling, so 7 to 8 foot. Make sure that your tree is not too high because you will be putting a topper on the top. At the moment there's a trend for what's called the pencil tree and the parasol tree. So a pencil tree is great for tight spaces and it allows you to then not have something too bulky. The parasol tree is great if you've got pets, especially cats. It looks a little bit like a parasol, but you have no branches at the bottom of the tree, the density at the top. So it allows you just to decorate the top of the tree and lots of space for presents at the bottom. Now comes the exciting part, choosing the colours that you want to use for your Christmas tree. This can very easily match with your interior decor and taking some of the accent colours that you have in your house, or you have the beauty of doing something completely different that's just a colour combination that you like. So for example, reds and greens comes across as a very traditional style tree. Silvers and whites gives a snowy winter wonderland theme. There's lots of metallics out at the moment, so you could mix silvers and coppers, or silvers and a colour, or golds and a colour. You could use very bright colours, so you could have blues and purples and mix a combination of them. You could also go for something a little softer, so a bit of a Scandinavian style, using natural woods, whites, pine cones and foliage. What's on trend at the moment is a mixture of things like soft pink and mint green mixed in with white, so you could use white feathers and all sorts of different white decorations to create a very on-trend colour and style, or just simply go wild and have a mix of different types of colours. The next stage of your tree decoration is to start with the lights. The lights need to go on first so that you end up with your lights a little bit closer to the centre of the tree. That way you will see the lights but not so much the wires. LED lights are best, they're much safer and they don't create any heat. When you buy your lights, there are many options on the market and you can have coloured lights, white lights or warm lights. Choosing these is dependent upon your colour scheme and also the effect that you want to have in your house. Warm lights generally are best because they give off a softer glow on the tree. You can also buy pre-lit Christmas trees, so you can buy an artificial tree that actually has the lights already embedded onto them. A little bit more expensive, but certainly lots less hassle for getting the lights on the tree. So you put the lights on first, work from the bottom, so start from the area where the lights are plugged in and then wind them up slowly around each section all the way around the tree, working all the way to the top. If, like me, when you get to the top of your tree you still have some lights left over, just simply carry on winding around, working back down towards the bottom of the tree until you've used all of your lights. That will just add extra depth. There are lots of lights on the market, and you can buy boxes of lights that actually recommend the size of tree that the number of lights are for. It's worth looking out for these, but generally about 1,000 lights for a 6-foot tree. Like us, you could use a garland to bulk out your tree. In this example, we've used a lovely range of copper and bronze and gold tones that come in a ready-made garland. The benefit of garlands is that you can wrap it around your tree very easily, and it will automatically give you a style and a look and bulk out the tree. Whereas we've used garlands to bulk out our tree, you can also use a ribbon in the same effect. Using a wide ribbon wrapped around in the same direction that we've used our garland, so on a diagonal, can really create interest in the tree. The alternative way is to start from the very top and cascade a ribbon down the tree, working in and out of each branch to create a present type effect. It can also add interest and decoration to the tree. Ribbons can be a really great way of adding interest to a tree even before you've put any baubles on. So here comes the exciting part. You could get the whole family involved if you wish. You could also have the children decorate their own tree somewhere else in the house, which would be quite fun. But what you need to do is choose the right decorations. Generally, multiples of 3 are always best, as it gives the tree balance. So you can choose large baubles, small baubles, and also different types of decorations. In our case, you'll see that we started to decorate from the top of the tree. This is always a good way to start because it allows you to see how full your tree is decorated. Generally, use larger baubles in the middle of the tree, working out with smaller baubles so that you get the depth of interest. A great tip is to buy a multi-pack of baubles, which will help you save on cost, and you can blend these in with the other more expensive decorations. We like to use things like tree picks to add interest, so you could add things like flowers, butterflies, pine cones like we've used here. You'll see gold presents, which are different to a bauble but creates interest on the eye. When placing your baubles, generally it's good to try and use what we call the V shape. Take 3 of the same baubles, starting from the top, then place in the middle, and then one at the bottom, but don't do them in line. Tend to do them from left to right or right to left, so that you create interest but there isn't too much symmetry. Then go back up through the tree, filling as you go. Finally, step back, have a look at your tree and see where there are some gaps, and start adding in baubles and decorations to fill the gaps. But the aim of your tree is to make sure that everything isn't too symmetrical but has a balance, so always remember group in 3s. Traditionally, tree toppers have been things like stars and angels, but that doesn't mean you have to use a star and an angel. We have in this example, but you could use anything like a teddy bear, an animal, a feather, or even a flower. Just make sure it's not too heavy for the top of the tree, and make sure it's the right size for your tree, and it also fits and doesn't hit the ceiling. So now you've got your fully decorated tree. Don't let it down and leave it sitting there underdressed. For the time that the tree is there before you put the presents under, of course only happens when Santa comes down the chimney, add a tree skirt until those presents arrive. It will give a nice finish to the bottom of your tree. There are some great cost-effective ones in the shops, or even make one from a little bit of fabric. They're great for catching the needles of a real tree and helps hide all the wires from the lights. Look for different places in your home that you can decorate. So areas like the top of your fireplace, your staircase, and don't forget a centrepiece on your dining table. All of these can be coloured, themed to your Christmas tree. My top tip is don't forget your downstairs toilet. These are the places that all of your guests will still go to. So how about hanging a load of baubles from the ceiling? It's fun, creative, and adds a touch of interest. If you're using fresh foliage, like holly, be careful where you place it because of small children, especially on your staircase. It can be a little bit sharp. Would you let your children decorate the tree? The answer is, of course you would. It was fun to decorate a tree. But if you're looking for a tree that's a little bit more design-led, then maybe let the children have their own tree. Like us, we've put our tree in the kitchen, so you might have some space either in the lounge or in the hallway or even in the child's own bedroom. Then they can place decorations that they like on their tree. Make it fun. Having a tree is all about fun personality. A great top tip for real tree lovers is if you are a little bit tight on space and your tree is going to be sitting in a corner of a room, you can always cut the back of the branches shorter so that the tree will push further into the corner. And don't forget, if you have some branches at the bottom that are a little bit too wide, you can always cut the branches from the bottom to make sure you've got a little bit more space for presents. I hope this tree has inspired you to be creative. We'd love to see your creations. Share them with us on Elan Homes social media.